Good morning, everybody. It looks like it's Lions Talk with just Smoking Jeremy B. I don't see Leonard yet, but that doesn't mean that won't change. We know he sometimes doesn't wake up at the butt crack of dawn. But wow, Emanuel Moseley back a year. Can't believe it. Hope everybody is having a great and wonderful day. A great recovery from the wonderful Facebook meltdown yesterday that lasted about an hour. Everybody and their brother was calling me, "Is your Facebook down?" Yeah, if you're not hacked, because by trade I am a computer tech. Just haven't done it in a while. That being said, let's have a great show.
Charles here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Meat Cat Bodies by Jeremy Moseley.
Good morning. As I said, it'll be Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B because Von Doom is missing in action. Stuff happens. Maybe he'll show up, maybe he won't. Maybe he's doing another day of orientation. So, you know, Emmanuel Moseley, is it a great signing? Remains to be seen. I hope he turns out fantastic. I hope he's amazing. I hope he stays healthy. And I understand that if he doesn't, we paid peanuts for him. I guarantee you it's another 1 year, $3 million deal or some stupid stuff like that. But it's probably one of those futures deals where it costs us 3 million plus the 3 million from last year that carried over to this year. So it's 6 million this year and another 3 million next year. I Fred Peterson, if he'd have been able to stay on the field, he'd have been a great veteran presence last year. That's my problem. In 3 seasons, he's played 32 games. He's an injury prone guy. I'm so tired of injury prone guys. I'm just tired of it. This time, we didn't even get a good year out of somebody. But good morning, gentlemen. I'm sick of it. I'd rather re-sign CJDJ than Emmanuel Moseley, and I hated CJDJ for his actions last year. Jerry Jacobs posted a fact of a goodbye on his Twitter yesterday, so I have the feeling he's gone. I, it does affect the cap, one funky Lions fan. That's where you're missing it. We're still paying 3 years for last year this season. So anything he gets paid this season is on top of that. And then it'll get extended to next year because they always do it as a futures. Orlando Escribano Jr. Good morning, good sir. Yeah, I understand that. I know we could get somebody, but I just don't like it. I can have my opinion, and sometimes my opinions are wrong, just like you guys can have your opinion. I totally am against bringing him back. If you're in a right, Lion King, that's where I'm at. He has not stayed on the field. He's been injured every day, every year. I I hate it. Oh, good morning, Mr. Vogel, the VCP in the chat. Everybody tell the butt chin Padawan hello. Everybody thinks he's going to be a CB3 or 4. I think they're banking on him to be the CB1. I think they're banking on it just like last year. They did the same thing last year when they signed him. VCP the house. Yes. Oh, tomorrow, let's talk about something serious. It is National Scam Awareness Day. It is the day when there are more of those no caller ID scam likely calls that come across your cell phones and house phones than any other day in the year. Please just hang up. Don't give them any information. This is where they try to scam all the people with Social Security because it's the normal day that the first checks get issued yearly for taxes. That's why it's called National Scam Awareness Day. Please be careful. I don't want any of my friends or my fans getting scammed in any way, shape, or form. And watch out for those super hot girls that message you through Messenger, TikTok, Instagram, any of that crap. Because 9 times out of 10, all they want is your money. You're not going to get anything more than a couple nudie pics. Fun to look at. Man, they're more toxic than an ex wife. So there's my PSA announcement for the day. Lots of tags were done yesterday, and I understand he doesn't have any more ACLs to blow out, but he has other injuries too. He's done an ACL a year over the past 2 seasons. So Emmanuel Moseley, yes, it's depth, yes, it's this, yes, it's that, but we signed him to be the CB1 last year, and I'm hoping they're not putting their eggs in one basket again this year. Man, franchise tag yesterday. It went off. Josh Allen, Brian Burns, Justin Matabuke, Jalen Johnson. T. Higgins was the first one off the board. Michael Pittman back to the Colts. L'Jarius Sneed we knew about. Antoine Winfield and Kyle Duggar. The only one on the transition tag, by the way, is Kyle Duggar. Everybody else is exclusive tag. So everybody thinks that they can just trade for those guys. It isn't based off of value. It's whatever the team wants to get them. So I'm quite sure Kansas City's going to be looking for more than just a second round pick. My question is, what does that potent Johnson, don't like CJ Locker, but has his talent won the Rams game? I don't see where he won the Rams game. The whole team won the Rams game. No, no, no. The only transition tag there was is Kyle Duggar, the safety at the Patriots. There is no opportunity to match. It is they either trade them or they don't. The other rest of them were exclusive tag, according to ESPN. That's Antoine Minfield, L'Jarius Sneed, Jalen Johnson, Justin Metabuke, Brian Burns, and Josh Allen, Michael Pittman, and T. Higgins. Those are all exclusive tags. There was only one transition tag out of all 9 tags done, and that was Kyle Duggar of the New England Patriots. Because with the exclusive tag doesn't mean they can't trade them. It just means Orlando Escribano Jr., there's plenty that may be sitting at 29. Jerzon Newton did not perform at the combine, and there's a chance he may not be performing at his pro day because he's recovering from an injury. Cooper DeJean may be there. Also, you got the recovery of the other guy. Well, yeah, Xavier Worthy's going to be rehabbing whatever it is with his hip flexor or whatever it is over Johnson. Do you know what they're trying to get a long-term deal done with Johnson? It's not a transitional tag, Escribano Jr. That's what I'm trying to make you guys understand. A transitional tag is the one where the teams get to make an offer and trade, and then the other team has a chance to match it or beat it. He's not on the transitional tag. It's an exclusive tag, which means you got to give up 3 day 1 and day 2 picks total just to get him. Any one of those. So you're giving up a first this year, possibly a first or second next year, plus a third at minimum. Good morning, Andrew Mirklinger. Good morning, John Kapler. I don't know who the Lions will sign in free agency because free agency, almost everybody that was good got tagged. Everybody that was at the top of that list that everybody wanted got tagged. I wouldn't overpay for Hunter myself uh, because he wants a bag and a semi-retirement type of deal. He is ring chasing, but I don't think he fits the culture here because he's kind of been a locker room distraction the last 2 years in Minnesota. And guess what? The picks at 29 are less likely to bust than the picks in the top 10, Escribano Jr. You got to look at it from the other perspective. We're picking in a spot we normally don't pick. We could have picked at 32 last year and we traded, or 2 years ago and traded up to 12. Who knows? They may trade up. I would rather take the chance to trade up than trade for somebody. Because here's the other thing: while Jalen Johnson had a spectacular year last year, he was average to garbage the 3 years before that. So you have to look at it that way too. He's finally developed, but he could. Oh, come on! But Hunter's great. Micro Mike has a big. Of course he does. I would rather get the 3 down guy that doesn't over pursue in the run game. and is a solid tackler and occasionally adds pressure, that would be AJ Epinesa. He is the free agent. That's the guy I would shoot for because he hasn't been re-signed by the Bills yet. If he hits free agency come Monday, that's my target. A three down guy. You can still rotate the other pass rushers in whenever. And you're gonna get him for half or less than half of what you get Hunter and have more money to re-sign guys that you got to work on their extension this year. I'm looking at the bigger picture than just 1 year. Let's shoot the moon. Oh, any people I think didn't deserve the tag? No, every single one of those players should be tagged. Uh, RJ Irving, it's going to take 3 picks plus a bag. He wants to be the highest paid safety in the league, and the highest paid safety is or highest paid corner in the league is Jair Alexander at 24.5 million. Um, we only got one more player to cut that clears cap. Everybody else has to be restructured to clear cap. The other guy we can cut is John Kaminsky. It saves 5 million. Everybody else doesn't really save any money. I like a player that is solid in every part of his game, and AJ Epinesa is that. He solid run tackler, doesn't over pursue, does get pressure and sacks on the quarterback. No, he doesn't get those double digit sacks, but he gets that 7 to 8 guys. The corners we could go for Chidobe Awuzie, Adoree Jackson, who did not get re-signed by the Giants yet, and also the guy everybody else is talking about, Kendall Fuller. All three of those would be better than anybody we got on our roster. And then there's a guy that was just cut by the Jags, which is Darius Miller, who actually worked with our secondary coach and was coached from him. Christian Wilkins, he's 33. He's on the decline. He is not as productive as he used to be. Chris Jones is going to be another guy that wants that Aaron Donald type of bag, but he doesn't play inside and outside. He's mostly an inside guy. When he plays outside, he doesn't do anything. We saw that 2 years ago when they experimented with him. So DT, I'd kind of get out of the draft. Um, Lee McNeil proved he's a one. I say we just draft another guy to fill in because Broderick Martin's going to be development. And say what you want. Devondre Sweat, yes, he had a slow 40, but his 10-yard split wasn't bad. It was under 2 seconds. It was better than Tom Brady's, better than Goff's, better than Mahomes. So, and Kool Aid could possibly drop due to his injury, but I don't really want Kool Aid. Um, Second round, we could take Devondre Sweat. In the first round, we could actually fix our O line because we have not re-signed Glasgow. We have not re-signed Jackson. We have not re-signed either one of them. And everybody's forgetting about the O line. O line becomes the biggest need in the draft if we don't re-sign either one of those guys. So at that point, you're looking at either Graham Barton, Jackson Powers, Johnson, or Cooper Beebe possibly at 29. And I'm okay with any one of those three. Cooper Beebe in the combine did every drill. Not great, but not bad. Great, good, really, really good is what he did. Um, the chances of getting Zinter in the fifth are slim to none. I think he's going to go late third, early fourth. He's a really good guard who had an unfortunate injury. I hate bursting the Michigan Slappies bubble because I'm a Michigan Slappy too. I think Drake Nugent is the guy that you could possibly get in the 5th, and he'd be a good backup, but that's all he plays is center. So you still need a guard that plays multiple positions. And the guys I named, the 3 I named that could be there at the back end of the draft in the 1st round, Graham Barton, Jackson Powers Johnson, and Cooper Beebe. Cooper Beebe has played left and right tackle, left and right guard. Graham Barton has played all 3 interior O-line positions, and so has Jackson Powers Johnson. So I just don't see Kool-Aid falling to 29, injury or not. And Beebe is flying up the draft board. Any one of those 3 will make me happy at 29 if none of those great defensive guys are there. That's what I'm getting at. Right, we need a big contested catch guy is what we need. Both Amon-Ra and Jamo are 6'1", 6'2" at best, and I think that's with their helmet on because they don't look that tall. So, I don't think we need another speedster. I think we need another average guy, 4'4" to 4'6", somewhere in there. Someone over 6'3" and can make contested catches. Is Xavier Worthy tempting at 29? Yes and no, because of the John Ross situation. Remember, John Ross is the one that set the record at 4.22. Xavier Worthy broke it at 4.21. He has suspect hands, and I'm not saying they're awful. I mean, it's almost 10% as his drop rate. So, yeah, I could see taking him, but why get another version of JMO on the team? And another reason why I don't like Chris Wilkins and Chris Jones, they're 3-4 linemen. They're true nose tackles. They are not DT2s. They are not four-man D linemen. So we have to look at that too. We need somebody that's played in a 4-3 front or at least a 4-2-5 front, one or the other. They had to have played in four-man fronts. So D tackles that played in the four-man fronts, they're kind of rare right now. No, I'm saying it could be, but he's not tall enough. He's another 5'11", 190-pound guy. I don't want another tiny wide receiver. We've got tons of them on the roster. Khalif Raymond, Tom Kennedy, J-Mo, Amon-Ra St. Brown. We need a big guy. That's what I see the biggest need. We don't have that big guy that can go over the middle and shrug linebackers. Um, if you're in a and the only thing that Johnny Wilson does wrong, he does not catch the ball well with his hands. He catches it with his body. He's Kenny Galladay 2.0. But look at what Kenny Galladay did while he was with the Lions. I'm just saying, 6'7", 230 pounds with a 39-inch vertical. That's not a bad combination. And he's a 4.5-ish speed guy. I think he ran a 4.56. Yeah, it was 4.56. Well, Ertz technically could be re-signed because he's on the roster. We brought back Zylstra. Yeah, we need to push the A gap, and that's our problem with mobile QB stepping up. We don't have a big that takes on the double team that frees, and that's okay, Escorbano Jr. Trust whatever Holmes does because we're either trading up or we're trading back or we're going to make a pick. I mean, there is no in between. We've seen it. He's done it before. He's traded up and traded back from those later positions. So let's see what happens. I, I'm okay with letting Brad Holmes cook. He's the only GM in the last 3 years that has every draft pick still on the team. Doesn't matter where they're at, they're on the team, whether it's the practice squad or the active roster. Remember, people, Jerry Jacobs was a UDFA, so he's probably gone. Um, we were at 6. Holmes was trying to trade up because he heard that Seattle was taking Witherspoon at 5. So we tried to trade up with Arizona. Mike Fisher, I love it. Uh, I just do a lot of listening to what they say. I don't see big swings, so I see mediocre swings in free agency. If they want to bring him back on a practice squad deal because nobody else wants to sign him, good. Fred Peterson, that's where I'm at. I trust whatever Brad decides to do because he has been the best GM this organization has ever had. Those are facts. They cannot be disputed. The proof is in, but where he's lacked in is free agency. And that's why I don't like the Mosley signing. And the closer it gets to free agency, the less likely any more extensions are done. It's March 6th. We have heard since what? The very end of the NFC Championship game where podcasters and media people around the world have said, "Oh, Goff's going to get a bag over 50 million." I understand what you're saying, and I agree. We fixed the pass rush. We fixed the D line, and the secondary will be okay. But the insurance of Mosley, I trust like the insurance of Yo Fault Insurance. You call up and say, "I got in an accident." They say, "Did you leave the house this morning?" And you say, "Yeah." They said, "Oh, it's Yo Fault," and hang up. That's the type of insurance I see the Mosley signing as. We got a guy with 2 bad knees. He's gonna lose speed. He's gonna lose change of direction. He's gonna be probably not even available till game 3 or 4 again. I already said who I'd target. I'm not big on Deontay Jackson. It's Jadobi Awuzie, Adoree Jackson, Darius Williams, and Kendall Fuller. Those are my CB1 targets. All of them play better in zone than they do in man, and we run more zone than we do man. Yeah, and to quote a good friend of mine, well, if you think about it, if grandma had a dick, she'd have been grandpa. I don't want to. You're talking about a guy that never even got close to the NFC Championship game. I think if we'd have started Iffy Melifonwu, I think if we started Iffy Melifonwu over CJGJ, we'd have won the goddamn NFC Championship game. I think if we'd have ran the ball in the third quarter and got one goddamn first down, we'd have won that game. So, coaching is why we lost that game, and it was the third quarter, not the fourth quarter, that lost that game. You can say it was Vildor, but he was in position to make the intersection. It took the luckiest bounce I've ever seen in any football game in the history of watching. It was a bigger lucky catch. No, you got to look at his trades. Who has he traded for, and how have they worked out too? He's traded for Michael Brockers, who is about as effective as a frog sitting on a log, benched for over half a season. Trinity Benson spent more time on the practice squad than he did the active roster. I mean, his free agency period has not been as good as his draft. David Montgomery's the exception. A bit embarrassing, not in Lowski embarrassing, but up there. No, it's not embarrassing. Corners are corners because they don't have the hands of a wide receiver. If that had been anybody on this roster not named Josh Reynolds out of the wide receiver room, they might have caught that ball. If it had been Josh Reynolds, it'd have been an interception going the other way. The way he played that NFC CJ. Well, we were talking about bringing Moseley back. Lion King, we ran the ball one time in the third quarter. Don't tell me they sold out to stop the run. We stopped running. We ran the ball one time in the third quarter. They didn't have to stop the run because we didn't do it. So all they had to do is stop the pass in the third quarter. And granted, if Josh Reynolds doesn't drop the ball, guess what? We're talking about a different game. Josh Reynolds is why we lost the game. Right. They blitzed. No problem. He still completed passes in the third quarter. They just weren't third down enough to get a first down. And then when they went for it on fourth down, it hits the guy in the hands and he drops it, and you're not blaming him. You're delusional. Josh Reynolds is 100% the reason why we lost the San Francisco game. And if you don't say that, then I don't know what to tell you because I watched the whole game too. It's more on Ben Johnson and Josh Reynolds than anybody else because we got so pass happy. One pass was low, the other two hit him in the hands. He dropped 3 out of 4 passes. Stop being delusional. He was diving for the pass. It hit him in the hands on the one. The other two, he is standing up. They hit him right here, like in the breadbasket in his hand. They were dead on the money. Not behind him, not in front of him, in his gut. And he couldn't catch the ball. He did his best impression of Eric Ebron that game. And the reason why I hated him is because every time he dropped the ball, he stood up, smiled, and laughed all the way to the sideline. And then he gets to the post game presser. He's asked about the drops. He goes, "Shit happens," and laughs about it. Yeah, that's your only job as an NFL wide receiver. Catch the damn ball. Laporta dropped 2 passes. St. Brown dropped 2 passes. JMO dropped a pass. He made up for it later by catching a touchdown pass. Yeah, I do blame Josh Reynolds 100%. No, he was closer to Eric Ebron that game. TJ dropped and never dropped that many in a game without making some catches too. Oh, let's not forget that JMO dropped one that went between his hands when he was pushed down at the end zone. But you know, That's Goff's fault too, right? Or are you forgetting that one? When J-Mo's like this and the ball goes right through his hands. Yeah, let's blame Jared Goff, who, if you take away every time I hear Eric Ebron, I cringe. So do I, because we could have had Aaron Donald. Just like when I hear people talk about Terry Fair, all I think is, man, we could have had Randy Moss. How does Goff get blamed for his wide receiver dropping passes when the ball hits their hands? I know everybody wants to blame Goff. Goff actually had one of his best games, two drop touchdown passes. So it should have been three. There was three drop touchdown passes in the Super Bowl game versus the Patriots with the Rams, but everybody blames Goff. Hey, I never said he's great, but Jared Goff is not trash. If you think he's trash, I don't know what to tell you. You wanted to hear something funny? Is Josh Reynolds had more drop passes throughout the season than JMO. Oh, we're not extending. I never said we were extending Goff, but JMO didn't have a drop pass from week. Let's see, he started back in week 5, 6, 7. So from week 7 all the way to the NFC Championship game, JMO didn't have a drop. Who said we're extending? I agree with you. We're not extending Goff. I've been saying that for a year, but it's not because Goff is trash. It's because he's just not anything more than a solid pocket quarterback who's a game manager. I I have said all year. I've told the truth about Goff. He's a good to great GM as long or great quarterback as long as the pocket is clean. I have never said anything other than that, and the numbers back it up. When he had a clean pocket, he had a 128.7 passer rating, the best in the league with a clean pocket. Under pressure, he was worse in the league. I have not wavered from that. It was the biggest disparity of any quarterback in the league. Of the starting quarterbacks, and there was 38 of them. He's number 1 with a clean pocket. He's 38 under pressure. Why? The guy's a statue. He runs like a baby giraffe when he does run. A baby giraffe being dragged by a lion in the Serengeti. I understand that, Marcus King. Come on now. I've said that on here 100 times. Fred Peterson. What is the difference between Hooker and all those guys you mentioned? Before you go any further, I want to hear why you think so bad of Hooker. No, Goff was 38th in the league under pressure. Because You know what's different than all those guys you mentioned about Hooker? He's actually being developed. He's learning the playbook before he ever hits the field as a starter. That's the difference, Fred Peterson. And that best GM you trust so much has scouted Hendon Hooker for 10 years. Oh, yeah, I want to see Hooker in preseason. I want to see Goff play out the season and let Hooker develop another year. That is what I've said all along. And then let Goff walk into the sunset. QB class is so deep, a late rounder. If the QB class was actually that deep, they'd be talking more than uh, about 6, 7 guys. It's not that deep. Um, Goff had more touchdowns and less interceptions than Josh Allen. More touchdowns, less interceptions than Pat Mahomes. I just I don't like saying Goff is trash. He's not trash. He's just not great. He's a good quarterback. Everybody just wants shiny, flashy, and new. And I understand it. And Josh Allen is a garbage QB. He throws more interceptions than he does almost everybody else. Hey JB, what are we going to do with Levi? Let him walk into the sunset, get set, and get compensatory picks. That's what I would do. So Stafford would do better with our squad? Nope. He's not as good a decision maker as Jared Goff. I understand that, Fred. But you are making it. You're barking at my show, so I had to bark back. That's what I was getting at. The difference is we're developing Hooker. He threw more picks than Goff that year. He led the league in pick sixes. They had to add players to that roster for Stafford to win. If they'd have left that roster as was, they wouldn't have even been the first seed in the playoffs. Josh Allen is a horrible decision maker. And I said when we got these guys, we'll win the division, not make it to the Super Bowl. 2024, we might make it to the Super Bowl and not win. 2025 was the year. I've said that all along. And I said, and I didn't think Goff was the guy then. And I still don't think Goff is the guy now. Yes, the Super Bowl win. Who did they add throughout that season? Leonard Floyd, Von Miller, and OBJ. They added them all mid-season. That team was not the same team that was built around Goff. They had to add guys. Tell me I'm wrong, Orlando, because I saw what I saw. They had to get people to cover up Matt Stafford's pick sixes. Goff in 2018 had the most injured prime Gurley. Think about it. He didn't even play in the Super Bowl. What was it? A total of 39 rushing yards they had because he got hurt. Stop. Yeah, he signed through the season. Oh, stop, Ricky Sakat. Now you're exaggerating. He just had a great year. Right. And if it wasn't for four drop passes in that Super Bowl, the Rams could have won that game. Thank you, Fred Peterson. And Von Doom is training. That's why he's not here. Okay. And I'll disagree with you. Jared Goff could. He just didn't get it done. He didn't. His players failed him in that Super Bowl as much as they failed him in that NFC Championship game. As much as coaching did. They went away from the run in the third quarter. Break it down. There was one run, and it was a fumble, and they never ran it again. Yes, and Hooker has a cannon. Thanks everybody for chiming in. It's been fun. Uh, but I'm not going to sit here and trash Jared Goff because he's not trash. He's just not great. But we can all agree on one thing, and it's the same thing we agree on every day. It's FTP. Put it in the chat. Make us happy. FTP. My favorite non-sponsor. Gloss Negron, the best window tinter in Saginaw, 989-443-9240. Get your whip ready for the summer. Make sure that window tint helps keep your car cool and the swamp ass out of your seat. Get it detailed while you're there. That'll take care of the swamp ass from last summer. And of course, Brandon's Tire, the place to get all your tire needs. We have great prices on new tires as well as great prices on used tires. Tires start at $40. If you're buying a set and you mention this ad, you will get $10 off. We just put a set on for a guy the other day. And like I said, if somebody's going to trust you with a $500,000 1963 European edition Rolls Royce, I think it's pretty good to do any vehicle in Genesee County. And not running the ball is on Ben Johnson. But try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. The only way to make the world a better place is starts in here. Go back and rewatch your game. But yeah, Flint Town, love it. The only place where you can ask for your water to be leaded or unleaded. Sorry, not sorry. I'm that guy. Have a great day, everybody. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Spade, neuter your Packer, Bears, and Vikings fans.